Right, before we get on to the main subject of this video, I'd just like to say a big thank you to all the well wishes that I've received for Willow, both here on YouTube and on Facebook. It's been quite overwhelming. He does seem to be feeling a lot better in himself. In fact, he's starting to get a bit cocky. I'm at the vet's tomorrow, which by the time this video has been released will have been yesterday, so I should find out more then over what we think has actually happened. We think it's been a severe sprain, but we need another visit to the vets just to sort of get to the bottom of it. I'll keep you updated. Now, if you remember, a couple of weeks ago I did a review on the Ride paddock stand for the Bobber Black and the Speedmaster. I was actually pretty pleased that I'd managed to find something that works, because it solves an awful lot of problems for me. But there is one thing that became abundantly clear. It's a diverse world. We all have different skill sets and we all have different confidence levels. Now, one of my aims with the videos that I make is to sort of inspire people to go a little bit beyond their comfort zone with the general upkeep and maintenance of the bikes. And it seems obvious to me from the comments that I received from that video on the Ride stand is that some people just don't have the confidence to attempt to use one. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. As I said, we are all different. So I did spend quite some time after making that video searching for an alternative, something that will just help people with the cleaning of the wheels and the spokes and give them a little bit more convenience when it comes to maintaining the chains. Now, what I've come up with is something that I think will hit the spot. I think I've always sort of been aware of the existence of these items, but I've never looked into them because they just didn't seem relevant to me. But once I actually got my hands on one, the penny dropped as to just how potentially useful these could be for everyone. Now again, it's a generic item, and I spent quite a lot of time sorting the wheat from the chaff, trying to get the best balance of price to performance. And the one I selected was the Gototop, yeah, silly name I know, motorcycle roller stand. Now on Amazon there are quite a lot of these on the market under different names, all look very similar. This one actually, just for once, was right at the bottom of the price scale at well under £20, and having tried it out, I have to say I think it is exceptional value for money. It's basically a small rectangular stand. It's made from aluminium. It doesn't look to me like it's welded together. I suspect that it is actually bolted together, which I consider to be a good thing, but the actual bolt heads have been hidden by some rubber pads underneath. It has a little ramp at one end, and then fastened into the framework are two aluminium rollers. Now I think these are just a straight cylindrical roller that runs on an axle. I don't think there's any bearings in there. This particular one is powder coated in black. It's a reasonably neat and tidy job, and this particular one is rated to withstand up to 400 kilograms. So I think it's going to be suitable for just about any motorcycle on the road. One thing I was a little bit concerned about is that the Bobber Black does have quite small wheels, and I wasn't sure if there would be enough clearance to be able to turn the wheels once you've got them up onto the roller, but everything was fine. Now, to use this little gem, you simply roll your wheel up that little ramp until the wheel comes to rest on the two rollers. I would recommend you get some bits of wood, a couple of planks, to prop under your side stand to get the bike as upright as is safely possible. This makes the roller stand a little bit easier to use, and it makes the bike less likely to slew over to one side while you're turning the wheel. Once you've got it in place and it's stable, you're then free to turn the wheel, which simply runs on those two rollers. Now obviously this is going to make chain cleaning and lubing an absolute breeze compared to running your bike up and down the drive so that you can get access to its full length. It also means that while you're cleaning and polishing those spokes spokes and your wheel rims, this is going to make that job much easier and less demanding. Now you need reasonably firm pressure to be able to turn the wheel, because obviously you've still got over 200 kilograms of bike sitting on it. That's going to depend on your own personal level of strength. I found that I could turn it with one hand reasonably easy, but be aware you do still have to put a little bit of effort in. It doesn't do it for you. Now the bike leaning over slightly does mean that the tyre starts to migrate to the right hand side of the actual stand, but it sort of reaches the point where it stops, so I didn't find that to be a problem. Obviously the more upright you can safely get it, the less that's going to happen. Now this stand also works well on the front wheel, so certainly when it comes to wheel cleaning and spoke polishing, both ends of the bike are covered. One thing you do have to be mindful of though with the front wheel is that obviously the steering comes into play here and the wheel can swivel from side to side, which can complicate matters slightly. My advice is to work on the section that you're on. When you reach the limits of where you can reach, get yourself to the front of the bike and use both hands to carefully turn the wheel, making sure that you keep the steering straight. Now it did strike me that even for bikes with centre stands, one of these little stands can come into play with doing the same operation to the front wheel, which again just makes cleanup and detailing a little bit easier than it normally is. Now this is by no means a replacement for a paddock stand. There are a lot of things that a paddock stand can help you do, for example removing your rear wheel, that this can't do. But for simple maintenance tasks, looking after your chain, cleaning your wheels, I think it is a must-have. Perhaps even if you already have a paddock stand. It does seem to me that it's more convenient for those kind of tasks than a paddock stand would be. The overall build standard of this little stand I think is really good, and I see no reason why it shouldn't give years of service. The rollers will probably benefit from some lubrication from time to time, and I think you would have to keep an eye on those rubber pads underneath. I do think there might be a danger that they will come off over time and might need re-gluing. But certainly for those of you out there that don't want to risk using a paddock stand but they want an easier way to lube and clean the chain and look after the wheels, I think this is an item that is certainly worth serious consideration. As usual, I will leave a link for this item in the video description down below. Once again, I'd like to thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video and that you found it useful. If you have, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I will of course be back next week, so until then, please ride safely and I'll see you soon.